where you can get rituals and wisdom for your most magical self. I am your host and spiritual mentor, Cassandra Bodzak, and it is a delight to be here today to talk about something that literally, I feel like my guides, my intuition, every single meditation has been pinging me to share with you, which is really this kind of energetic forecast and this new paradigm of doing the new year as we step into this decade of 2020. And we close the tens. And, I've been really called, more so than any other new year before, to be guiding light workers and heart-centered beings through this transition time so that we can step into 2020 really as our most empowered, radiant, and magnetic self. So if you want to dive deeper into this, I will put some links below for signing up for a clarity call with me or for applying for the group coaching. I'm going to be offering during this 3-month portal just 3 months of intense one-on-one coaching for a few select ladies, as well as I'm going to do a group which you can apply to, and it will be a powerful group of, once again, heart-centered light makers that are really committed to shifting into this new decade really powerfully and embodying who they came here to be. So if that sounds like you, if that's something that your soul's nudging you about right now, click the links below or check out the links in my Instagram profile. Shoot me a DM about it. Spots will fill up fast, but I just feel really called to support people through this transition because, and part of that is me doing this podcast because I feel like it's this, we're moving out of this old unconscious paradigm that throws away this precious time of year and says, I'll start it January 1st. There's something that happens after Halloween as we move into Thanksgiving time where we check out. We check out of being the conscious creators of our life. We check out for showing up, for bettering ourselves, from doing the deep work because we are like, oh, it's the holiday season. And maybe to you that means deadlines at work. Maybe that means, driving your kids to a bunch of different parties. Maybe that means for you having to go to a bunch of different cocktail parties or set up the cocktail party for your office. Maybe to you that means having to buy a bunch of different presents for everyone and running around or going to see family or traveling a lot, right? But it's this kind of old paradigm consciousness of, oh, well, Halloween passed, now we're in the holidays, I'll just start that initiative January 1st. I'll just let things ride out into the new year. And we make these excuses, and in a way, this is how the patriarchy or the shadow or whatever you want to call it, right? Everything with me lately is like, it's the patriarchy. Oh my God. But I joke, but it's kind of true, right? It's this outdated paradigm, right? That is keeping us down by allowing us to disregard this energetically potent part of the year. First of all, we are stepping into a massive portal on 11/11 like we do every year that kicks off this period, right? That's when my one-on-one coaching will start and my group coaching will start on this 11/11 portal. But so we're easing on into that. We're leading up to that. And then we also have these beautiful times, Thanksgiving, right? Or Indigenous Peoples Day. I think a lot of us have mixed feelings about Thanksgiving, right? And what it stands for. But let's, if we strip it down to a holiday about gratitude, right? To a holiday about gratitude, or even to Indigenous Peoples Day, right? If we're thinking of it in that aspect, having gratitude and honoring the people that came here before us, right? The people that lived on this land that we lived in. And even if you are listening to this from Australia or Europe, right, which I know a lot of you are, there's a collective consciousness that all of us can access. We have these different holidays in different parts of the world, but what happens on those days is that it's just an auspicious energy when we all gather and we say, oh, this is a time. So you know what? Even if you're in, you know, Brazil, right, and not celebrating Thanksgiving or Indigenous Peoples Day like we do in the US, you're still going to see your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed blowing up with what people are grateful for, blowing up with family pictures, right? There is an energy that happens on these holidays. Same thing, you know, during Hanukkah, right? I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but I feel the energy of Hanukkah during that time. I'm so connected to my Jewish friends and seeing what's going on with them and talking to them about the stories of Hanukkah, about what it means to them. Same thing with Christmas, right? Kwanzaa. We just had Diwali, right? There are so many of these beautiful celebrations going on in this magnificent period of time. And here is the thing, guys. It is not an accident that we have so many holidays during this time of the year. It is not an accident because people for ages and ages and ages, religions for ages and ages and ages, were capitalizing on energetically potent days. That's how so many of these holidays, it is not an accident that you have that a lot of the Jewish holidays coincide with a Christian holiday, right? It's because both of the people recognize these potent, energetic days and chose to celebrate it in their unique way, right? And so, once again, during this time, when we are really, if we take it back in the day to when we were really gathering for these holidays, we were really gathering, we were celebrating, and so many of us do that today, but so many of us right now, what gathering looks like is often, you know, everybody being on their cell phones or people watching a football game on TV, people not really having deep intentional conversations, people getting stressed out about certain relatives that drive them crazy, right? We've gotten out of the energy of gathering. Now let's take that back. What is the true energy of gathering? Gathering is this time where we can sit in sacred circle with each other, where we can talk about what we're grateful for from the year, when we can talk about the things that we're improving, the things that we're honoring in ourselves, the things that we're accepting in ourselves, who we want to be. Now, if you think about this, right, let's think about this in kind of like an idealized dream world, right? In an idealized dream world, you gather around the table for a holiday, right, with your friends and family, and you break bread and you celebrate and you come together and you celebrate the wins and you mourn the losses together and you recognize the people that have passed on that year and you recognize the babies that have been born and the people that have gotten married and the accomplishments of the year, and you hold the energetic space for each other to step into the person that you want to be for the new year. And here's why that is so important. And this is why I'm not only doing the one-on-one, but I'm doing the group coaching too, because we have lost the ability to do that for each other in common places, okay? We haven't lost the ability to do it for each other, but we just don't do it as naturally as we once did, because we've lost so much of the sacredness of a lot of these holidays, the sacredness of this time, right? It's kind of gotten clouded with, if you think about it, with booze and materialism. You know, now a lot of our holidays are, you know, boozy parties and buying tons of gifts. And we've lost the rituals and the sacredness of it. And of course, I'm sure different ones of us have, you know, I know, you know, in my family, we have certain dishes that we have every single Christmas Eve, right? We have a certain like hidden nut in the rice pudding every Christmas Eve that we always do, right? We have a tradition of when the kids open the gifts, right? And so every family has their own traditions that have stayed, hopefully. But if you think about it, we've also just gotten, but I can tell you for sure, at least in my family and a lot of the people that I know, the deeper conversations about about the gravity of what happened during the year, about the level of reflection that goes on, the seeing each other is often lost these days, right? And so the beautiful thing is that you watching this, listening to this, can be the spark that lights the flame in your family. You can be the one that brings those conversations to the table. In your intimate relationships, in your family, with your friends, and having, I've hosted Thanksgiving on the West Coast for a few years now. Did like a Friendsgiving and stuff, and so on Friendsgiving, I do have us all go around the table and talk about like 3 things we're really grateful for from the past year, and 3 things we're working on for whatever. I have those conscious conversation starters. But anyway, getting back to thinking about back in the day, holidays, rituals, ancient ceremony. You were seen. So imagine this. You're sitting in a circle. You're going around. Maybe you're lighting a candle. Maybe you're, passing some incense. Maybe you're making an offering. Whatever is going on. Maybe you're just breaking bread and sharing wine. And you're saying what you're grateful for. And you're also saying who you want to be stepping into this new year, right? So, for instance, let's say you're saying, I'm committed to being a harder worker. I'm committed to being more loving, more compassionate. I'm committed to taking better care of myself. Whatever it is, right? You would have your community to see you, to hold you to that declaration. And I think this is something that we've lost. This is why I've been doing group programs in my coaching work for years now. I think now it's been like 4 years, right? And when I started, I already saw the magic of one-on-one coaching, and the magic of one-on-one coaching for any of you guys who have never done it, or on either, have never done it yourself, is that I myself, as a coach, have worked with mentors and coaches. I'm a big believer in how important it is to have someone see you, hold the space for you, hold you accountable to the highest manifestation for your being. I have seen the magic that has in my own life, and I've seen the magic that I've been able to give through that for other women that I've worked with. And similarly, in a group program, or in a group setting, right, in a circle, you have that too. When you have those people that, if you think about it, back in the day, it was the people that were in your village. It was the people that were in your family. It was people that you were going to see day in, day out. So if you said, I'm committed to being a more compassionate person, and then a week later you're yelling at someone at the watering hole because of whatever, right? Someone's going to call you out in a loving way and say, hey, Leah, you said at Circle that you're holding the space to be a more compassionate person. How can you find compassion in this moment? And that's the magic, right? Because we can't do this alone. We're not meant to. We're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to do this together. We have so much medicine and magic for each other in community and holding that space for each other. And this is what a lot of this auspiciousness of this time was. Think about all of the different holidays, right? Let's say at the minimum in the States here, we have Thanksgiving and then Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, right? There are a lot of different holidays that go on, and it's called the holiday season, right? This energy that literally started now. Starbucks is already like dressed for the holidays. So we started in November and it goes all the way until January 1st. We have this whole season of holiday. And why? Because this is the auspicious, energetic time leading up to the new year where we have the opportunity to connect to the person that we truly want to step into. We have this opportunity to reflect now. Reflect on, reflect this first week of November. Reflect the first 2 weeks of November before we step into this 11/11 portal. Get really clear. Get honest with yourself. look at this past year. And this is hard. And this sometimes is going to suck, right? Because I'll tell you right now, I mean, I checked off some boxes this year, and there are some big ones I did not check off. There are some things that I really wanted to happen this year that did not happen. And there was something that happened this past year that was far greater than I could have imagined happened, right? Meeting my man and finding my partner in life was just such a beautiful gift that, to be honest, I hadn't really, I hadn't really like put a thing on, right? There were some more specific things that I was like, well, this is going to happen this year that didn't happen. So reflecting on the whole, reflecting on how magnificent is it if I looked at, reflected last holiday season as to if this current holiday season I would be in the serious committed partnership I am right now. What a gift. What a gift. Right? And then also looking at the ugly things, right? Okay, what were my goals when I set out for 2019? And I don't know about you guys, but luckily I write all this stuff down. So I have this in a journal, what my 2019 goals were, and looking at them and saying, okay, well, I did this, I did this, I did this. Why didn't I do that? Was it because you self-sabotaged? Was it because you got in your own way? Was it because you weren't willing to get the support you needed, or you weren't willing to invest in yourself? Was it because you simply forgot about it, right? I think those are always really interesting to look at. What are the things that you set out to do this year that you kind of just like spaced on? And for those, just a little, side divot for that is I really believe that everything happens for a reason in that aspect. Whereas if you forgot it, sometimes when we sit down to write goals, we write from our frontal lobe, our masculine mind, right? And not from our feminine intuition or from, the divinity channeling through us. And so when we're writing goals from that point, sometimes we're like, well, I want to make X amount of money, and I want to do this thing, and I want to have this many this, and and we just kind of go through the things almost that we think we should want. And some of the things that end up on the list are things that we feel like, no, I really want to do this, or I really want to whatever, right? And then there are some things that we put on the list because we're like, well, if this, then that, And so oftentimes with those things, what happens is we forget about them, right? Because we weren't super charged up to do it. We weren't inspired. And so now is a great time to look and reflect and be like, okay, well, I kind of set out to do that, but actually that wasn't that important to my greater goal this year, and doing that, reflecting during this time period, doing it early, right? Do it right now. This is going to be something we're going to work on in my one-on-one coaching and in the group program is going to help you get really clear and get really honest with yourself what you need to clean up moving into this year. Because here's the thing, I'm sure we all have things that just fell off the list. And I'm sure we also all have things that we look and we're like, you know what? I never made the time for that. I never took the leap for that. I tried to do that, but I couldn't ever hold myself accountable enough to just see it through. That opportunity came my way. This is the real heartbreaker, and this has totally happened to me multiple times, where the opportunity for you to capsize on one of those things kind of floats your way. Someone's like, oh, actually, I do that. You want to email me your proposal, or I'd love to work with you, and you don't follow up. And you don't do the thing that you want to do. And again, this is the time to reflect on that. Why did I get in my own way? Why, if this is something that I really want to do, why did I trip myself? Was it because I was scared? Was it because there was so much resistance because it means so much to me? Or was it because at the end of the day, it actually isn't genuinely what my soul feels called to do? And that's a toughie, right? Because I will say this for myself, and I think this is one of the things that I hope to impart to you over and over again in this podcast and all my work, wherever you follow me, is that you know how you work. And you have to start learning how you work, right? And so for me, I know certain things about me. I know when I'm super inspired by an idea, I will stay up all night until the sun rises the next morning, getting it done, getting it out, writing up the page, mapping out the different things, getting clarity on all the stuff. I will just do it. And I won't have to force myself. I won't be like keeping myself up. I won't be like, you have to do this. Like, I'm not like in love with pulling all-nighters. And it doesn't happen all the time. But when the lightning strikes, I'm wired and I go. So if something comes down and I'm not wired and I don't want to go, a lot of times it's just not strong enough of a yes in my soul and my body for me to do that. And I know that I can have 7,000 things going on. That's an exaggeration, right? At one time, I can be seeing a ton of clients. I can be dealing with a bunch of brand deals. I could be writing a book. I could be doing all the things, right? And if an offer that is aligned with me comes along, if someone's like, we need to fly you to Barcelona tomorrow to speak at this thing, or I need you to stop everything and write this interview for this magazine, or I need you to, we're going to fly you to Texas and we're going to film these videos with you, right? Which are things that have happened. I just do it. I don't think I say yes and I figure it out. I will work on the plate. I will work in between takes. I will get it done. There is superhuman aid that comes to my side when something is a hell yes for my soul. And so when I look back at my list, I reflect on if there were opportunities like this or there were different things that come up. Was it just not a big enough yes? Was it just not aligned enough? Right? And again, this is when it comes to knowing yourself, because then there's also questions to say, okay, and where do I sabotage myself? And where do I sabotage myself here by doing something that's not in my zone of genius, by, not getting the help I know I need, by not asking for the help I know I need, by not maybe prioritizing something that is a priority of me, or by counting myself out before I even get going. And so doing an authentic inventory as we move into this auspicious energetic season and starting to clean things up now. Don't wait until January 1st. And first of all, no one starts on January 1st. If you haven't already started, you're not starting until like January 10th. Let's be honest here, right? You're just like dealing with life the first week of the new year. And there is nothing worse than that feeling. I've definitely done it in my 20s a lot, where I was like, it's almost the end of the year. I'll just wait until next year to get that thing going. Why? Because you have 60 good days. And when you're listening to this, maybe you have 50 good days. Who knows when you're listening to this? But that is a solid amount of time. A lot can happen in a week. A ton can happen in a month when you get into inspired action. And I know if you're listening to this right now, you've had an experience where you got that hit, you listened to that niggle, you took the aligned action, and within a week, one of your goals got fulfilled. Within a week, an opportunity arose, and you were like, wow, how did that happen so fast? And it reminds me of a message that I got so strongly so many years ago when I was in Miami. I went to Oprah's You Can Heal Your Life tour or something. I think that was, I don't know if it's You Can Heal or Live Your Best Life tour or something, whatever. Oprah was doing a tour with Elizabeth Gilbert, Rob Bell, some other wonderful people. And one of the things that just echoed in my head the whole weekend was, it'll happen as fast as you let it. It can happen as fast as you let it. But it's us. It's us who oftentimes are blocking the things that are meant from us from happening. And so I just needed to get on this podcast today. I just needed to spread this word with you guys, because I want you to know that these last 2 months, we're ending a decade. We're not just ending a year, we're ending a decade. And we're not just entering another year, we're entering 2020. We're literally entering the year of perfect vision. What is perfect vision? What is perfect vision? Well, according to A Course in Miracles, perfect vision is Christ consciousness. It's seeing through the eyes of love, seeing the eagle eye view of situations. You can also take perfect vision this other way. is that people are truly going to see us. That there is going to be no hiding. Nobody's wearing glasses anymore. You're not going to be able to get away with being inauthentic. You're not going to get away with hiding some stuff. You're not going to get away with pretending. Because not only you have perfect vision, but everybody else going to have perfect vision. And so you're going to see really clearly. And I think it's already starting. The energy is already preparing us for this, which I think is part of it. You know, I've had this with a lot of my girlfriends the past couple weeks, and with myself, is we've just been feeling the energetic upgrade that's going on. So if you've been feeling fatigued, headached, dizzy sometimes, if you've been needing to drink a lot of water, if you've felt the need to do more restorative exercises or take baths more, if you've been called to meditate more, journal more, spend more time in spiritual practice, this is what's going on. We're energetically realigning. We're clearing a lot of things in our carbon body that are weighing us down, that are not going to serve us moving into this new year, because we're being energetically prepared to up-level to a new way of being. We're up-leveling so that we can step into our power, so that we can be the forces of light that we came here to this planet to be. And if you're listening to this, that's you. Because I know you wouldn't have found this or listened to my crazy bum this long if it wasn't you, okay? And I'm not gonna, and again, as we move into this year, I'm not gonna censor myself anymore. Because I know if you're here, you get it. And if you don't get it, you've already tuned this out. And the thing is, we can't keep playing small. We can't keep playing small. We can't keep letting these human tendencies trip up our divinity. And our human is a gift. It is a gift when we accept it and when we utilize it and when we leverage it. But that's why, for those of you who saw that I did this Divine Body Challenge, which you can still sign up for, the link, I'll put the link in the comments below. It's a 5-day challenge to make peace with your body and reconnect it and reconnect to its divinity. That's why it's called the Divine Body Masterclass. Because when we start divorcing ourselves from part of the intelligence that we came here to utilize, like our body, like the earth, like things in this human container, then we're sabotaging ourselves. And in so many ways, for so many of us, we've spent years being more comfortable doing this. We've been more comfortable in our limiting beliefs around money than we have in what might actually happen if we invested ourselves and freaking up-leveled for once, right? We've been so invested in what other people are going to think of us that we've played a character that is a watered-down version of who we truly are, because we haven't wanted to show the world the full glory of our being. We've been so invested in our story that someone like us can't do X, Y, and Z, that we haven't even tried, that we haven't even taken steps forward in it. We've been so invested in our overwhelm, in our anxiety, in our social media addiction, in our comparison addiction, that we haven't healed the root, that we haven't focused on the medicine that we truly need to put the blinders on to all of the noise. It's all noise. And it's time, as we step into this new decade of perfect vision, to put the flippin', not to put the blinders on for the things that we need to look at in the world. We have some really serious things in the world that we need to look at. And here's the thing. With this perfect vision that we're stepping into right now, you're about to see, if you don't already, you're about to see where you're called to serve. And I want you to honor those nudges. I invite you, one of the things I'm myself doing right now is, like I said, not censoring myself. I'm allowing myself to talk about whatever I want to talk about on this podcast, on YouTube, on my social media, I'm allowing myself to just flow so that I can focus on being a divine channel and not focus on the online marketing game of, well, is this niche? Oh, like, let me put myself in this container. Oh, well, so-and-so is using this Instagram strategy, right? Because that's playing small. And I'm not here to be small, right? And neither are you. And so I want you to honor what's coming through for you right now, because it's not an accident. And here's the thing, we're getting some powerful, intense downloads. And you're feeling it in your physical being. And you're feeling it probably in all the things that are swirling around in your head. And you're feeling it. Maybe you're feeling tethered in different directions. Maybe you're feeling like you're being pulled towards something that you're like, oh my God, I just did all this work this year to do this thing, and now I'm being pulled in this direction. None of it's an accident. None of it's an accident. And these downloads, this intuitive knowing that's coming through, these pings, the things that come up for you when you get really clear about what you did and didn't do this past year, and how you would like to do this next decade differently, how you'd like to step into 2020 differently, it's going to be really important to look at. It's going to be really important for you to truly see. And it's exactly that, right? It's exactly doing this work that, you know, it feels silly to keep on blaming it on the patriarchy, right? Let's call it the old paradigm. I feel better calling it the old paradigm. The old paradigm doesn't want you to do that work, right? Because the old paradigm is going to be dismantled by more and more of us doing this work. The old paradigm of selling the most booze on, throughout the holiday season, of, stores making a crap ton of money during the holiday seasons, right? This old paradigm of I have to show my love through material possessions, or this old paradigm of I can't handle being around my family, so I'm going to drink, or I can't handle the social anxiety of the holiday party, so I'm going to drink. This old paradigm that I need to like go out and be so busy every night, right? Or I'm not doing it right. It's going to come apart when we stop buying into it. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that you can't go to your office party and have like a mistletoe martini or whatever they want and enjoy your office friends or whatever it is. I'm not saying that you can't, go, hang out and buy your little brother like a bunch of different Lego sets or whatnot, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if we look at this with conscious eyes, we're going to do it differently. You are going to choose wisely. And you're going to do it from a very conscious place, right? And there's nothing inherently wrong with either of those things. It's when it becomes a mask from us to actually deal with the deep work that is in front of us this time of year. Because you know what? If you're showing up to cleaning up the things that you maybe fumbled this year, to cleaning up the things that you didn't show up for, the dreams you pushed aside, or the improvements you didn't make, you have a nice runway. You have 2 months. You can get a lot of stuff done. Sometimes when I do this work, and I've been doing this for the past probably 5-6 years now, so usually I get more stuff done in these past couple months of the year than I've gotten done a lot before, because I'm so intentional about it, because I see the finish line, because I want to step into the new year with that energy. Because I want to step into the new year on a high note. I don't want to step into the new year after like coasting, right? And so when we're in that space, then you discern better. Then you're like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go to this holiday party because I really like those people and that's going to be really fun. But I'm going to say no to this party because you know what? I don't really feel as connected to that people, and I'd rather have that night to focus on, finishing up that book proposal that I'm working on. Or you know what? Now my priority is, one of the priorities I had put aside that I didn't really do was getting a regular workout routine. So you know what? I'm going to, for the rest of the year, I'm going to have my regular workout routine. And I'm going to schedule that in. That's going to be my thing. Right? Your focus shifts. Your focus shifts, and you go from this place of just being like, I'm just going to allow myself to be a leaf blowing in the wind for the next 2 months and just see where I end up in January, to being a very conscious, powerful wizard of this new year. of saying, okay, you know what? 2019 is not over yet. I got things I can tighten up. I got things, it is still so palpable and so possible, and you are riding such a beautiful, powerful wave of energy right now. As we walk through these portals, as we head into the winter solstice, right? Winter solstice, one of the most sacred days of the year. A truly, truly beautiful day for us to reflect. For us to reflect the barrenness of winter, the emptiness of winter. It's like a tabula rasa. It's a blank slate for us to create whatever we want on. As we move from fall to winter, we're shedding the leaves, we're letting go. We're looking at the things that we, the missteps we made, the things that we are ready to release, the patterns we're ready to release, the things we're ready to dismantle. And we're powerfully now creating on this beautiful blank slate who we want to walk into this next decade as. Who do you want to be in 2020? Because you know what? It's 2 months away. And you can upgrade if you're on a scale of like 1 to 100. If right now you feel like you're a number 47 version of yourself, we can get you up to a freaking 100 in 2 months. That is possible. You can make a quantum leap right now and end this year in a way you didn't even think was possible before listening to this podcast. I am telling you this right now, and you are listening to this because your spirit guides and the angels that are watching over you want you to know this. Want you to know that they are behind you, that they are cheering you on, and that they brought you here and they brought you to me for a reason. And if that's so that you can light your own fire, so that you can really reflect on this stuff tonight, so you can get to work, then I hope you do it. I hope you listen. And if you're feeling called, if you're like, you know what, I really do want to do this, but you know what, I've tried doing this year, and I can't do it without the accountability. I can't do it without the support. Because trust me, I get it. That's me. I have accountability. I have someone I talk to every single week that I invest in. Why? Because I'm committed to being the best version of myself. I am committed to showing up at full wingspan. I have big work to do here on the planet, and I am not embarrassed to say I need support and accountability to get it done. And so if that's something that you need, then I really urge you to click the link below, apply for the group program, sign up for a clarity call with me. Let me guide you. It's not an accident that you're listening to this podcast. It's not an accident that your soul called you here today. And I know that if you're here, and if you're feeling that niggle, and if you're feeling that call, that we can launch you into 2020 in the most divinely magnetic, powerful way possible. So I hope to see you guys. I hope to talk to some of you guys. I hope to read some of your applications. And regardless, I really hope you show up and you do this work. And please feel free, tag me on your Instagram stories, DM me, email me, let me know what comes up for you when you're hearing this. Let me know the pings you're getting. This whole thing is a channeled energetic download for you to activate what's going on inside of you. So honor what's coming up during it. It's not an accident. Honor the pings. Honor the thoughts that are coming up. The things that your spirit, your soul, your guides, your angels are calling your attention to right now. Because, like I said, we are stepping into a very auspicious portal where we have a lot of energy to make quantum leaps as to how we step into this new year. And I want you to take advantage of it because 2020 is going to be next level. And you are going to be next level right there with it. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.